Can you tell us a little bit about your signature kimchi dish?
That, Richard, would be my double Kimchicken peanut butter pie. My kids love the pie filling. They're 8 and 9, and I've been doing this for quite a while, so I normally just eyeball the ingredients instead of actually following a strict recipe. And in fact, I change it each time I make it because I want them to increase their tolerance of chili. So each time I make it, I add just a little bit more kimchi, and this time around, I've actually graduated them to one which actually has 2 kinds of kimchis. But don't tell that to them.
Hey, Mom!
What's special about this double Kimchicken peanut butter pie?
Well, peanut butter and pie are as Australian as kimchi and red pepper powder are Korean. So that, I think, is a nice combination of the 2 cuisines. And the first one, for me the most crucial one, is that it contains kimchi! I love sneaking kimchi into my everyday cooking, although I'll happily eat it straight from the jar. Kimchi is one of those foods that, either makes you drool or it makes you recoil in horror, and my feet are firmly in the drool camp. There's this Korean saying that goes, a man can live without a wife, but a man cannot live without kimchi. And did you know that up to 13% of the daily food intake of a South Korean comprises kimchi? So in this double Kimchicken peanut butter pie, the most crucial bit for me was that it contains kimchi. But the most crucial bit, which is feature number 2, for the rest of the world, is that it is actually delicious. Kimchi is a very spicy and sour kind of dish. That is going to be offset by peanut butter, which is sweet, and also by yogurt, which is creamy. Then we get a bit of a smoky flavor coming from bacon, which is a very Australian ingredient. And that smokiness also complements very well the smokiness from frying in butter this Korean pepper powder called gochugaru. And the third feature of this recipe is that the pie filling is very, very versatile. You can do so many things with all the leftover pie filling. This first group of ingredients are the hero ingredients, which means they are all crucial. So first we have baechu kimchi, which is made from napa cabbage. Do you know 70% of kimchi that's eaten is actually of this type? When I'm cooking with kimchi, I like using a mature kimchi because it has a deeper flavor. I'm using a second kind of kimchi as well, which is chonggak kimchi. It's called a ponytail radish kimchi because it's in the shape of the ponytail that was worn by young men in ancient Korea. The third ingredient, gochugaru, which is a fiery red pepper powder. This I fry in butter to add a smoky note. I also use some yogurt because it adds a creamy balance to the fiery ingredients. Did you know that if your tongue is burning from chili, that the best antidotes are milk and yogurt? That's because the burning chemical dissolves in fat and not water. So drinking water or sucking ice isn't really going to be as effective. The final hero ingredient is peanut butter! The sweetness from this tempers the sour flavors in the kimchi. So what I have here are chopped garlic, chopped ginger, and salted shrimp. That just comes from a jar from a Korean shop. But if that's not something that you have, then you can just use a teaspoon of salt. Now you see that today I've actually prepped everything, but I haven't processed these onions. That's because I've got 2 kitchen secrets to show you. This is a little trick that a chef taught me about 20 years ago. I've forgotten his name, I've forgotten what he looks like, but this tip has stayed with me. Let's say I went to the market and bought a huge bunch of green onions. The first thing that I do when I come home is to chop off the roots. Even before I put this in the fridge. And that's because that will help the green onions to stay fresher for longer in the fridge. It really works. I've done it for 20 years. And the thing is, with these roots, if the weather is warm, you can just bury them in your veggie patch, water every day, and you'll get more spring onions sprouting out for free. The other kitchen secret that I do is, and this is not going to be pretty, but this is the only way I know to be cutting this amount of onions without tearing up, which will make my mascara run. So now I'm going to put on my goggles, and then I'm going to start chopping. I don't look pretty now, but when the goggles come off, my eyes will still be pretty. I can even inhale deeply and I won't tear up. Et voila! Speedo, the choice of champions. The next component are the vegetables, and this is where the recipe is really versatile. You can use veggies, which are lurking anywhere in your kitchen. They could be lurking in your fridge, they could be lurking in your freezer, or they could even be lurking in your cupboard in a can. So my combination of veggies today reflects the ancient Korean principle of obangsik, which means the 5 directional colors. Obang means 5 directions.
5? I thought there were only 4.
North, south, east, west, and center. Sik means color. So each of those 5 directions actually has a color attributed to it. They all have various meanings in nature and life. The concept of each of these 5 directional colors is actually everywhere in Korea, in their art, in the South Korean national flag, and of course in many foods. I have here some hard-boiled eggs, which I'll be slipping into the pie just like the South Americans do with their empanadas. Bacon is a very Western ingredient, but I think its salty, smoky flavor works really well with the Korean pepper powder. Finally, I've got minced chicken. You can use minced pork or beef too. And you know what? This recipe is so versatile, so you could make it vegetarian. Just omit the meat, double the amount of veggies, and instead of having a double Kimchicken peanut butter pie, you'll end up with a double kimchi ratatouille pie. Okay, so that's the pie filling done, and I'm just going to quickly taste it to see that it has the sweetness from the peanut butter and the creaminess from the yogurt that's counteracting the sourness and the heat from the kimchi, and to make sure that the veggies are sufficiently cooked. Mashisoyo! And that is Korean for delicious. So what I'm going to do is make some pastry from scratch. It's red and it's buttery. It's red so that it can match all the redness of the Korean ingredients in this dish. And it's just come out of the oven. 맛있네요.
Wow, your production is over time and over budget.
There's no budget.
You have to provide dinner now.
Do you guys want to eat something before you go? Some rice and the ratatouille?